Hi dear grade 11 students, welcome back to my channel, and for today's lesson we are going to have a quality discussion for our week 6 for our English for academic and professional purposes. I do hope that you are done with the rest of the other modules as we are about to end the quarter 1. Okay, and you have also ameliorated or you have improved your way of writing, as this time we are now to discuss how to write a critique. Okay, yes, I'm pretty sure you this is a familiar topic for you in your junior high school, right? Okay, and we are just going to hone more about our writing skills. Okay, so before we'll start, I'd like to remind everyone that this will be an English and Bisaya mixture, yeah, English language and Bisaya dialect for my discussion, as to help widen our audience. Okay, maybe a lot of other students as well are watching us. Okay, so before that, we have here our learning competency. Okay, so it states uses appropriate critical writing critique such as formalism, feminism, and others, or etc. Okay, our objectives: discuss critical approaches in writing a critique. Use an appropriate critical approach in writing a critique. Display a cooperation and seriousness in group discussion. Okay, maybe for the third objective, I think that's for real discussion, yes, in your classroom setting. So this time, so I'll just have to provide the theory. Okay, now let's continue. Okay, for critical approaches in our in writing a critique, there are actually a lot of means. Okay, when we do such writing. Okay, so there are various ways and standpoints, okay, in which we can analyze and critique a certain material. Okay, so we can critique a material based on its technical aspects as well. Okay, so basically gani kanang sa ato ang adlaw-adlaw nga panginabuhi, kung inana kita ka observative o observant, okay, observant sa ato ang palibot, daghan day tang makit-an nga. Actually that is something that our science subject also try to mold us nga maging sa tawagan ng ingon ni Kuya Kim o kanang mapagmatsyag, kana inana ba. So in writing, gitabangan sad ta sa ato ang English teachers or sa atong EF teachers unsaon di ay nga mas makahibalo ta nga kani iyang gisuwat kay maayo ni siya in terms of. Okay, so that's for the technical aspects. Usahay gani maayo kita manghinaway sa ato ang mga classmates nga wrong grammar ang gisuwat. Wrong grammar, dili ko mokopya ni di ba? Makikita mo filter. Patanawa daw ta sa imong gibuhat, kid at least naalang ko idea on sa akong buhaton. Okay, ginani niya. So you do have your options too. Okay, so these approaches that you will have in consider in writing, it also it also has to do something with the gender, the reaction of your reaction, okay, as the writer, okay, with regards to what you are reading or unsa to ang katong material about. Okay, so if ikaw to ang audience, if ikaw to ang nagbasa, nindot ba ka basahon ang libro? Same logic nga, if ikaw to ang nagsuot sa gisulob nga gown, okay, ni kinsa nga celebrity, angayan sad baka ka sa, okay, may ka manghinaway sa imong silingan nga patuga-tuga og kanang palit og gown or kanang nindot nga sinina niya, wala ra bay angay. Okay, so they said it's not about the clothes you wear, but it's how you handle or carry yourself when you wear the gown or the dress. Okay, so there are a lot of struggles that you can actually encounter the moment that you try to critique. It could be someone or the writing that we are talking about. Okay, so because again we mentioned about, okay, ang technical aspects niya, okay, ang grammar, okay, ang iyang pag hanay sa iyang gisuwat, or it could be the social structure, ay bati ang iyang gisuwat kay grabe kay siya ka sa tawag ni ano iyang gi ang aspect sa social status sa tao iyang gi-demean sunay na so mao na siya appeal siya sa imong pag-critique. Okay, so diri tudloan ta unsaon di ay. Okay, the first approach we have here is formalism. Okay, so it claims that literary works contain intrinsic properties and free each work as a distinct work of art, period. In short, it posits that the key to understanding a text is through the text itself. Okay, the historical context, the author, or any other external context are not necessary in interpreting the meaning. Okay, so wala tay labot ang ihada ko nung about sa author or about sa external aspect. Ang sa formalism kay nag-focus siya as to the iha lang mismong suwat. Okay, so basically more of siya sa technical. So unsa jud ang imong gi mura siya katong sa explicit type ba. Kung unsa ray mo nakita mo ra tay imong basihan, dili na ka manghilabot nakasuwat og nani ang author kay nani mo gud siya sa una or iha man gud yung experience. So wala siya labot ana. Okay, so formalism nag-focus lang siya sa sa unsay naa sa suwat. Okay, intrinsic, okay, just what's basically on the context. Okay, so commonly ang sa aspects nga gi-follow sa formalism kay ang author ba ni follow sa techniques nga para ma-resolve niya ang contradiction between the main character and the other characters of the story. Okay, ang central passage ba nakasum up ba sa ihang tibuok story, iha bang gi-mention og klaro. Okay, so mao na imong basihan sa tun-an. Okay, another siya first palantaha nga approach nga pwede nimong gamiton kung mag-critique ka o usa ka suwat or isa ka material. Also put the contribution of parts and the work as a whole to its aesthetic quality. Pwede nimo ma-appeal sa imong pag-critique kung original ba ni siya. Kabasa mo ko, familiar man ako nga statement iyang gibutang, I think this is it from here. So, pwede na nimo ibutang sa imong formalism nga approach. Okay. Next is the contribution of rhymes and reasons to the meaning or effect of the work, or the relationship of the form and the content. Okay. The use of imagery to develop the symbols in the work. So, mga figures of speech nga gigamit ngadto niya, usay wala nag-coincide sa katong story nga iyang gi-mention. Formalism. Okay, I hope that is something clear. Yes, again for the use of the other figurative speeches. Okay nga iyang what we call unsa na siya? Idiomatic expressions. Okay. Okay, this is the example. I hope I can read the whole thing to you. Okay, so this is an example formalist critique based on the story or the material Dead Stars, a classic Filipino short story by Paz Marquez Benitez. The title of the work already gives an idea as to what it means. In physics, it is stated that the light and energy of the stars have to travel light years to reach us. Since they are millions of miles away and light has to travel this large distance, it is highly possible that the star has already exploded when its light is still traveling towards us. Therefore, it is possible that a bright light we see at night actually comes from a dead star. In the story, this metaphor is used to refer to Alfredo's love for Julia, a woman he meets and falls for one fateful summer. Not only is the title an indicator of what is to come, even the fate of the characters in the story can already be seen through their names. Alfredo's name means Counselor of Elves in Spanish and suggests someone who is wise. In this story, it is indicated that Alfredo is a lawyer, a person who counsels. Still, his name denotes a certain irony. Despite his supposed wisdom, Alfredo's actions, especially his covert courtship with Julia while being engaged to another, are anything but sensible. Julia's name, on the other hand, refers to someone who is youthful, which is how Alfredo sees her for 8 years until he is confronted by reality. Okay, that's really interesting. So this is the example, okay, the right example for formalist critique. Ihang gipakita or ihang gibasihan ang pangan sa mga character sa story, and giunsa niya pag-relate okay, ang kaning mga pangan sa ilahang characters mismo. Okay, so hopefully na inyo nakitaan kung giunsa day paggamit ang formalist critique okay, into writing. Okay, let's go to the second approach. Okay, the second approach we have here is the feminist criticism, okay, or feminism. Okay, this one focuses on how literature present women as subjects of social, political, psychological, and economic oppression. It also reveals how aspects of our culture are patriarchal. Example, how our culture uses men as superior and women as inferior. The common aspects looked into when using feminism are as follows. Okay, actually the example is on the next screen, but I'd like to reiterate the use of feminist okay, in this writing is that when kana ganing saya na lang ko ha. Ang culture nagdetermine sa gender okay, as to what is mentioned nga ang equality kay gipresent sa text nga dili jud fair ang treatment sa lalaki ug sa babae. Kay normally ang lalaki sa story siguro ang lalaki kay mao jud ang naay higher position sa company, ang lalaki may nagtrabaho niya, ang kasagaran ang babae kay secretary or nara sa balay. Okay, so gender issues. Okay, so how it is presented in the writing or in the material. So pwede na nimo himuon nga basihan kung mag-critic na ka unsa nga approach imong gamiton. Okay, so feminist. Okay, maggamit ko sa feminist approach kay murag visible kaayo ni siya sa kaning material nga akong gibasa karon. Okay, yes, and how women are socially, politically, and economically it's raised by the patriarch. Okay, so yeah, let's have the example here for the feminist. The story is a study of power in again this is still from the material Dead Stars. Okay, so it is now used as for the feminist critique. The story is a study of power imbalance brought about by gender. In the beginning, Dead Stars already clearly illustrates the gender roles ingrained in Filipino society. Don, Julian, and the judge are portrayed as the male leaders of the household, taking up lofty professions such as business and law, while the women are portrayed accomplishing domestic tasks such as tending to children and preparing food. The most noteworthy display of imbalance in power, however, lies on the central theme of Alfredo's love. Okay, so iya din gi-relate no give. At first ang iyang gi-mention sa iya na obserbaran nga mao to ang posisyon sa lalaki o sa babae sa household o sa business related. Okay. So, iya din gi-relate sa story din nga to sa Dead Stars katong si Alfredo's love for Julia as simply a dead star. 8 years after their forbidden love and after getting married to another woman, Alfredo still holds Julia as an object of affection, thus creating a distance between him and his wife Esperanza. In their relationship as a wedded couple, the power lies in Alfredo not only because patriarchal society designates him as the head of the household, but also because he remains unreachable to his wife by harboring feelings for another woman. Moreover, the realization that his love for Julia is simply a dead star is brought about by his treatment of Julia as simply an illusion and an object of affection, and not as a woman. This gender imbalance leads to a tragic epiphany for the characters, but is also a reflection of how men are viewed to dominate not only in the household but also in the relationship with women. Bitaw no kay kung ang lalaki na ay lain nganong okay raman. 'Di ba kung na siya first wife, second wife, karon kay mamata na gid siya sa imong religion. Pero kung dako kay siya nga epekto sa society ba kung ang babae na ay lain rather than kung ang lalaki na ay lain. Ay maingon dayon ta nga natural ra man na kay lalaki man siya. So, kana nga aspect pwede na nimo gamiton sa feminist approach when trying to critique a writing. Okay, mo na siya number 2. So, I hope magamit na ninyo siya. Okay. Another approach we have here, reader response criticism. Okay. This is concerned with the reviewer's reaction. Okay, so this time, ang mga reviewer na naakay ka ng mas tagaan na nimog importansya ang reaction sa reviewer. Reviewer, we consider them as the audience or the readers. Okay. It claims that the reader's role cannot be separated from the understanding of the work. A text does not have meaning until the reader reads it and interprets it. Okay. So mas mahibaw-an nimo ang kanindot or ang success sa usa ka material kung daghan og comment gikan sa nagbasa. Okay, parehas na po na nga na yung mga nag-trending nga mga news, makahibalo ka nga nindot ang story or nindot ang usa ka movie kung daghan ang nag-review, kung daghan ang nag-comment. Okay, so kanang dapita gigamit nila ang ilahang reader response criticism. Okay, so another aspects unsaon pag tan-aw sa usa ka writer nga pwede basihan sa iyang pagsuwat using the approach reader response criticism. So pwede siya ang interaction between the reader and the text in creating the meaning. Okay, ang material ug ang nagbasa mismo. Or pwede pod the impact of readers' delivery of sounds and visuals on enhancing the change of meaning. Okay, so inana siya nga ikaw mangobserba jud ka kung ikaw jud usa ka critic kay noun nga gigamit sa tao critic critique pwede siya verb, pwede po siya noun ang imuhang material or imuhang gisuwat. Okay, to ba? So ikaw jud mangobserba jud ka kung ikaw usa jud ka professional nga critic. Okay, so we have here an example for reader response criticism. Okay, allow me to read that. Okay, it's for number 3 already. Despite being limited in length, Dead Stars manages to evoke various feelings which ultimately build up the ending. While Alfredo is the center of the story, as a woman leader, it is hard not to feel greatly for Esperanza. Esperanza can only be seen through the perspective of Alfredo. This does a disservice to her, as we can only know her through the description of someone who doesn't love her anymore. Still, it is also through Alfredo's descriptions and his unfaithfulness that Esperanza gains sympathy from the reader. During all the moments when Alfredo and Julia are together, the thought of Esperanza looms in the background. Does she know? Okay. How will she react? What will happen now? The sympathy only increases when they get married. For it is clear that Alfredo is detached from her and is still harboring feelings for Julia, while the end certainly evokes a feeling of loss. At Alfredo's epiphany, it is the feeling of betrayal for Esperanza that stays. Okay, so ikaw nga nagbasa atong Dead Stars kay while reading it makaingon ka nga halano bitaw sa unsa kay feeling kung ako to ang asawa. Okay, ikaw maka-feel ka na nga ikaw ang nagbasa. So as a critic, mo na imong tagaan og kanang focus or konsiderasyon. So mo na siya ang sa reader response critic. Okay nga unsay imuhang tagaan og bili kung unsay reaction sa mga nagbasa. Of course, you have to put yourself on the shoes of the reader side. So, mabasa jud ka. So, nindot siya. Interesting pa siya. Okay, and we do have another approach. Okay, this is the last one, but there are still a lot. Okay, I'll provide some approaches, but we will only the module actually only focuses for four, but you can also explore the other approaches. Another here is Marxist criticism. Okay, this is concerned with differences between economic classes and implications of a capitalist system, such as the continuing conflicts between the working class and the elite. Hence, it attempts to reveal that the ultimate source of people's experience is the socio-economic system. Okay. Kasagaran nato mo base sa estado sa usa ka tawo, the way siya mustorya, the way siya mangsinina. Okay, kung sosyalan iyang kung na siya mga in English gamay siya pagstorya kay mura tag mo distansya tagamay oy mura dili na ako ka level da. Di ba? Nahinan ang mga instances or kanang like siya ka iyang bag kay especially for women, di ba sa mga bahay murag kung signature imong bag murag kanang nag-reflect pud siya kung unsa ka nga klase nga pagkababae, unsa ka nga klase nga tao. Kung nindot kag bago, mahalon lang. Sosyalon lagi ni siya, lahisyo. So mo matter siya. Oh, so I think for boys pod kay ilahapod kay shoes. Dapat branded ilang shoes or naa ka na na standard ba na a brand. Okay. So most likely ang sa kaning sa Marxist kay ang aspect pud nga gitan-aw ani niya kay ang social class, okay, social status sa tao kay present ba sa katunga material. Okay. Naapod ihapod i-consider ang social class sa writer. Giunsa pag suwat sa giunsa pag deliver sa writer ang statement, perhaps makaingon pud to ang ikaw nga critic kay ang writer kay in ani gud iyang standard. Okay. So makaingon ta ba nga ikaw pod nga nagpili og kanang imong partner sa kinabuhi, mo reflect pod na siya as unsa ka nga klase nga pagkatao, mao ni ang standard, so okay ra day sa iya nga dili kaayo kana sosyalon nga babay, ganahan jud ay siya nga kanang pwede ra niya kanang pwede ra makakaon og pungko-pungko, pwede ra maadto sa mga kalendarya, kay naa may babae nga high standard nga dapat naagit sa mga high-end bars nga naka-resto, naka-dine-in. Na may mga lalaki nga dili ka-afford ana nila, so di gyud sila makapangasawa og inana, or if ganahan sila mo wish sila nga or mag-dream sila nga makapangasawa o makapartner og inana, so dapat itaas po nila ang ilahang yes, pwede po, di ba, mag-pretend. Okay, I watched a certain movie like that, nga, mag-pretend siya nga dato siya, kay para makapaminyo sa siya o dato. Ang iya din nakitaan, pretend sa da ito siya, nga dato sa siya. So, karma is life. Karma is real, de. Okay, so, inana sa Marxist niya, mao sa na imuhang basihan kung mag-critique ka, okay, imo na imuhang i-focus kung magbasa ka sa material, okay, when using the Marxist criticism. Okay, example. Okay, we have here example. Okay, so again, same story para dali na to masabtan na yun sa ang paggamit ang approach. The imbalanced societal power play is evident in the short story in the form of the treatment of the characters based on their class. Okay, this is most easily evident in the conversation between Alfredo and his fiancée, Esperanza, about Calixta, their note carrier who grew up in the latter's family. Okay. The scene depicts a parallelism in the circumstance of Alfredo and his new love, Julia, and Calixta and her live-in partner. However, while no one blatantly frowns upon the budding relationship between Alfredo and Julia, except for some whispered rumors that reach Esperanza, Calixta is dubbed ungrateful to her master for doing such an act. Alfredo does not have to answer to anyone for his unfaithfulness, but Calixta is responsible not only for what her family might think, but also for the members of her master's family. Despite the same circumstances, the two people are regarded differently based on their positions in life. Okay. Katong si Calixta nga mura ka ng bridge ra ba or middle woman okay mora tay hatod or unsa siya na hinuon mo kanang kanang wala jud kay kanang kuan po angod kanang gamay low status kay ka or siya man ang sulugoon siya man ang ang high ang atong gipakita diri nga high standard or naa sa taas nga societal power kay si kuan man ang bana or katong lalaki si Alfredo. So si Alfredo kay he doesn't have to explain to anyone nganong naa siya lain. Okay kay para sa society o para niya maka-afford man ko. So okay ra nga na ako'y lain. Okay. Unlike sa katong usa nga oy nganong inana man ka nga dili man ka pwede or naadyo ka na yes unfair treatment in terms of the social standard or the social status of the person. Okay, I hope that one is clear and you already know how to use the different approaches, okay, for writing a critique. And we also have more approaches. Okay, you can also do it, search it for yourselves. Okay, four lang ato ang gibasihan kay these are the very basic and most useful. So kato lang sa and the rest of the other approaches here. Okay, so pwede ra ninyo siya ma-check. Okay, so that ends our discussion. Thank you so much for joining with me in today's lesson. And if you believe that this discussion is very helpful in answering your module, please have a thumbs up. Okay, and we'll see each other again in our next video lesson. Thank you and enjoy learning. Okay, goodbye for now, my grade 11 students.